So anyway, guys, this is an introduction to the podcast segment of the show. And I want to introduce you all to some smart people who know their shit about games and just what's going on in the world because, yeah. So this is Nick, and this is Harrison.
Hello.
I love the enthusiasm. Anyway, yes. You should do another hello. I'll chop it out.
Hello.
Alright, no, this is great. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to discuss some, what's kind of going on out there, shoot the breeze about the news, talk about stuff that we personally enjoy, and, just go over everything contemporary and vintage. And retro, yeah, that's the correct term. So anyway, we're going to discuss three things. The first one is just what we like in games and what we look for and what makes them special and unique and why we like games. So I guess I'll start because you all would not like it. Yeah. So for me, I guess I got a Nintendo system when I was a little kid, probably like 6 years old. I remember being under the tree and I freaked out. And my brother and I, we played Super Mario Brothers, the Duck Hunt combo game forever. And that kind of sparked my interest into games. But then, in 1997, a game dropped that blew my fucking mind called Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. And, I remember getting it at the video store, and I played it, and then I died after you left Midgar by the Midgar Zolom snake thing, and then I had to go rent it again, and then I had to buy a memory card, and then my brother deleted my memory card, and I beat the game, and I loved it. So, yeah, I guess that's just kind of... So I love RPGs and stuff like that, so, yeah.
Memory cards.
Huh?
Memory cards.
Memory cards,
Do you remember those? Memory cards?
I do remember memory cards.
You kids out there?
Mine was somewhat similar in the sense that I liked to play NES with people in my neighborhood, and someone luckily didn't want theirs anymore and gave it to me, and that's how I got my first system. But the first game that I fell in love with was probably Ocarina of Time. I'd enjoyed other games, but that was the one that I really just kept playing over and over and over. And just gameplay, that's what I enjoy. It's a good thing, especially when it works well. That's a good game.
But you like narrative and stuff in games,
right?
right?
See, my problem was that I never had a PlayStation.
Oh.
And so I missed out on some great games like Final Fantasy.
Ocarina kind of had a story.
It did have a story, but it wasn't as heavy as other games that I recently been playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once I started getting more into Final Fantasy, I was more open to story-based games because a lot of the games I played were pretty much like Mario Kart, things you could pick up and play and put down besides Zelda games, but just really enjoyed having a Nintendo system all the time. But yeah, then I finally got a PlayStation and I realized that there was a whole new style of game that I was missing out on. So, I missed out for a while, but now I'm like in the know.
You've gone back and rediscovered a lot of the old.
Oh yeah,
especially in the
last 2 years.
The channel's called HP Plus, and he discovered HP Plus materia in 2016.
Yeah,
it's never too late.
Well, that's pretty late.
It is late.
Yeah, that's right. But never too late. That's right. Gotta be generous. Gotta be nice to my guests. So anyway, Nick,
are we gonna have guests? Is that
cards? I mean, I guess so. I mean,
that's awesome.
Nick,
so wait, was your first system an N64?
No, it was a Nintendo. The Nintendo.
Oh, they did. Okay.
The original Nintendo.
See, my first system was a Super Nintendo, but I was the oldest kid in my family, so I was the first kid in my family to be clamoring for, I want to play video games. I needed a Nintendo, but all my friends had older siblings, so they all had Nintendos, and I would go to their house and play Mario and Duck Hunt. And we would trade off, every time someone would die or whatever. And I remember going over to my cousin's house, who was 10 years older than me, and he was playing Final Fantasy. And I had never played an RPG before. I had no idea how they worked. I was just used to the side-scrolling platformers and all that. And I was just like saying, hey, next time you die, can I play? He's like, yeah, sure. Little did I know that he was buffed out and he wouldn't die like ever because you don't really die in those games once you get really good at them. But my first system was a Super Nintendo, and I got into RPGs, like 16-bit RPGs, in a big way. There was one like glorious weekend where I went to Blockbuster, and I was discovering most of the games at the video store. I didn't like read magazines or anything. The internet wasn't around, so I would just pick up whatever looked interesting to me. And there was one glorious weekend where I picked up Chrono Trigger and Earthbound at the same time. And
I missed out.
I would rent them over and over again for several weeks to beat them, and it was just that ignited that love affair. And
he was ahead of the curve.
Obviously, Final Fantasy VII blew my mind when it came out.
But you already had the taste of Square in your mouth. Because for me,
not the way I would put it.
Well, you know, all right, the taste on your tongue.
Yeah, we'll go with
So,
that. Okay, yeah. All right.
So so
Yeah.
but yeah, because for me, my introduction was 7, so naturally it was just the enlightenment. So
Yeah.
wow, man. Well,
That's the origin story.
that's the origin story.
Yeah.
It's almost like that, man. So
My parents are still alive, fortunately.
Yeah. So so I guess that's just generally what we're kind of into. Icebreaker. I mean, we were going to do icebreaker games, but that'd be kind of boring. So anyway, we want to move on to a news topic. Now, this one, it's been pretty controversial, been in the news. In fact, it was the most downvoted Reddit post of all time.
The EA thing?
The EA, that's what we're about to get to. So,
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2. So obviously, there was a lot of controversy when Battlefront 2 came out because it was kind of one of those play-to-win cell phone games manifested as a AAA polished, online shooter. And the first game was very successful, so obviously the anticipation was very strong for this one. And it dropped, and people soon found out that if you wanted to be the best at it, you had to spend around $3,100 in order to achieve all of the loot boxes and microtransactions.
Seems fair.
So yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that kind of industry is more standard today than it's ever been. It's become kind of just the status quo for games is that there is added content now. DLC, it kind of started in the PS3 era. And but now it's going to another level where instead of just getting the new story content or like some new weapon, now it's
Some horse armor.
Yeah, some horse. Oh yeah. Or the Xenoblade 2 armor in Zelda. Yeah.
Did you all play Battlefront?
Battlefront 1? No, I never did.
Okay.
Actually, I never
We're
did.
experts. I haven't either.
Neither have I.
We like to talk about things that we know.
But I have witnessed it. My brother bought it and he played it at his friend's house in Atlanta. And I mean, it looked beautiful. That game is super polished and honestly one of the best looking games I've ever seen. And it looked really fun, but I never got around to playing it.
I do remember one of the complaints I think I heard about Battlefront 1 was that like it shipped with something like 3 or 4 maps, like not many maps. I think a limited roster of characters, and you had it sort of dipping their toes in the water of the pay to win, pay to actually play the full game.
Yeah, and they took a while to release more levels for Battlefront. I remember that.
Which were, not free to download.
Yeah, you had to pay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I guess the writing was on the wall back then. But those games still sell so many fucking copies. It's got the Star Wars license, and yet they try and nickel and dime you at EA. So, I mean, EA, I don't like them.
See, I love Skate.
Oh, he likes EA.
I love Skate, but then they stopped making Skate, and everybody wants Skate, and I don't get why they don't make a Skate 4. There's a huge following for it, and if you go on their Instagram, so many people just write in their comments, please make Skate 4. And they don't listen to anybody, so I'm not surprised that all this happened. But, I did like them at one point because I thought they made a good game, but now they took all the servers away and things like that, and I'm not a big fan anymore.
And there's like even a campaign that has their own website and everything to bring Skate 4 back.
Yeah, they played off the
EA's
Make America Great Again, and it was Make Skate Again. And
could have done a little.
They could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it was
fixed
like
more
it was
you
just
brand.
it was to show the movement of how many people wanted a new skate game, and they didn't respond to it or anything like that. So now I hear that the people who originally made it Skate, the skateboarders, are trying to get some other thing going on, and hopefully that turns out to be good, but who knows. So
Skate 4 fans, we got your back.
Does EA still own the Skate brand or franchise?
I think it's all up in the air now. I could be wrong though. I think they lost.
Skate 3 came out like 8 years ago.
One of the problems is trying to get all the money from the sponsorships from all the companies back, because it's a lot of money to invest in them. So it's like, I don't know, they really need to have a good backing in order for companies to really want to make another game.
But EA is strapped for cash.
I know. They don't have any,
because of all their NFL games.
They're not making
and
money
FIFA,
anyway.
they sell tens of millions of copies.
What's FIFA?
Huh? Anyway, so Battlefront 2, anyways, EA, so this was a huge controversy. They released a statement trying to appease the public, and it just came off as crass, tone deaf, and just totally, it was written by some, attorney. It was very dry and didn't seem to care at all about what was going on. So there was a fan backlash, and this huge campaign swirled around the internet, and it's kind of crazy because EA lost 7% of their stock value and lost over $3 billion.
I heard they got a letter from the Disney CEO actually, because they've got Episode 8 coming out or this month, and they don't want all this bad shit, all this bad press swirling around Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I don't blame them for being upset at EA.
I don't think that letter leaked, but I'd be really interested to see.
Yeah,
it's
what definitely. I'm sure the new Star Wars is gonna be awesome, but come on, EA, everyone hates you. Figure it out. You're almost like Konami. Anyway, that's a different topic.
They gobble up all these brilliant studios. They take BioWare, a promising, studio, and then they absorb it and they chew it up and they shit it out, and now it's a shadow of its former self.
That is
Black Isle Studios, Interplay.
That is the best example.
We'll have to fact check all this.
They ruined BioWare.
Yeah,
they ruined BioWare for sure. Well,
they've got a track record.
They're a lot of people like the Dragon Age games, and they do have a fan following, but I don't know. It does seem like they dilute and rape everything that joins.
Let's say corporatize.
Yeah. That's a friendlier word. Corporatize. We get dirty here, so sometimes. Please don't sue us. Anyways,
there's a disclaimer probably.
Yeah,
his channel.
Harrison, he did art. So, anyway, so the last topic is about probably what's going to be a primary focus, obviously, is Square and what they're up to and what's on the forecast. And we all like FF7, so we're probably excited for the remake and hopeful and trying to be optimistic. Anyway, just about 2 weeks ago, Shinji Hashimoto, the brand manager for Final Fantasy, has been on board since the 7 days, did an interview saying that 2018 is going to be a big year for the franchise. Now, does he mean announcements? Does he mean releases? Because it's been the 30th anniversary and it's been kind of dry. We haven't gotten any remake news. No hint of 16. They have been shelling out the 15 DLC, which has been pretty good. I've enjoyed it. And, but it just seems like, Kingdom Hearts is obviously coming up next year, but what could be Final Fantasy that's coming in 2018?
I also remember earlier in the year when there was a leak saying that they were going to release something for the 30th anniversary where they were going to have all the older games be available on PS4 or something like that. And that never came true, which I was kind of pumped about, but I'm hoping that they, keep putting out good things, and hopefully maybe we'll hear something about 16.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a missed opportunity.
It might be a little early to hear much about 16.
I would hope that they would push it back if it's not going to be coming out somewhat soon. Because I don't want to have something just waiting and waiting and waiting in the background for me that, like 15.
Well, I remember 15 originally started out as what? Some offshoot of 13?
It was
13
the Fabula Nova Crystallis franchise, which has 13 versus 13 and Agito, which became Type 0.
Okay, yeah. So it was all splintered off into their own separate
And they
projects.
announced all that shit in 2006 at TGS, and
Type 0 came out when? I mean,
Type 0 came out for PSP in like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
13 was right around then too, but then Versus went through development hell, like the quintessential version of that, and
like Duke Nukem Forever levels of development.
exactly.
You know?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But that turned out to be a terrible game, which was unfortunate. That was top of my list.
Sorry to say.
Sorry. But anyway, so I don't know what direction they would go with that.
So I mean, you know, big year for Final Fantasy. How many different things could that mean, right? Like, you would think that maybe there's a tease for 16. I'm certainly not like a gameplay trailer or even a cinematic trailer, but maybe some type of promotional artwork or some type of tease.
But would that trap them in their old habits of announcing stuff too early, and you get and like some people can deal with it, but others can't tolerate it, and years later they're just like, it's been 5 years since the artwork.
Well, I think they were burned a little bit by how they went on 15. You know, it took literally 10 years for that game to come out from the first time it was announced. So I think they're gonna try not to tip their hand too much with 16. I mean, try to walk the line between exciting people and not over-promising people.
They really need to change their perception of taking forever and announcing games too soon. They need to totally erase the past decade of when's it coming out. I feel like that if they can turn a corner and announce 16 and have it come out in like
shorter release times,
I would say like a year and a half tops, that would, I think, change people's opinions big time, because they usually announce the games 3 or 4 years before they come out, like at least in the modern
Do
era.
they typically make a brand new engine for each game?
Every game, yes.
So if they could.
So
they could avoid that would help, but I know that you have to keep building and making things better.
I mean, 7, 8, and 9 were all in the same engine.
They were the same, that's true, but in the modern era.
In the modern era,
yeah.
I guess you're right.
But they are using a proprietary engine for Remake, which is the Unreal engine.
Okay.
So they sort of are hopefully listening to us that, don't build a new engine from scratch every time, because that probably takes a year or two. And then tweaking it and working with it.
I just want to read an article that said they had brought a lot of development in-house to Square, though, for the remake.
Well, the whole story was
shifting away from the Unreal Engine because they I don't know, they couldn't apply it properly or translate it.
That's still vague, but I would think they're still using the Unreal Engine, or they'd say otherwise. They basically fired a third-party company that was developing the bulk of like the assets, and they did a lot of work, and Square was unhappy with it. So 2 years into it, I'm sure they fired them, but I don't think they started from scratch. They probably took their progress and took it in-house, and they're like, we need to like shore up our development in-house, which I like more to begin with, because you're surrounded by the directors constantly versus being on a phone in a building miles away, so.
Sure, it can improve the art direction for sure, but it definitely adds some time to the runway to do that development work in-house.
So they've hit a bump, and they've been vague, and at PSX this year it would have been 2 years since they've released a trailer, which is like already kind of pissing people off. That, like, seriously, like, did they not learn from Versus and like in 15? But the thing is what does Miyamoto say?
Oh, I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
actually.
right? Yeah, it's better to have a finished game can be good if you take longer, but I'm probably really botching the quote right here.
Yeah, a bad game in development is a bad game in development, but a poor game that gets released is a poor game forever.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's better, essentially it means it's better to take the time to perfect it and work on it and release it then, and if it takes 6 years, it takes 6 years.
What do you think, Harrison?
I think that if they're going to take quite a bit of time to make something, that they should wait until it's a little bit more fleshed out and then give you a trailer, as opposed to just like what happened with 15. And hopefully they learn. Exactly. Hopefully they learn from 15 and they move forward and they make changes, because I know that and it's like there's certain people that have this expectation that Square is going to take a while to make a game, and if they take a while to make a game, that's, some people understand it, that it's going to take them a while, but some people that are new to them won't get that it takes them years to make these games, and they're good quality games, but it does take a long time to make them, and some people just don't understand it, because there's like Call of Duty people, and they love to have a game every year. Not that Call of Duty's bad, it's just that it's, you know, they pump one out every year, so there's like some people...
different expectations.
Exactly. Some people expect a game every year, where Final Fantasy, they're always making something that's kind of new and different, and like a new story, so it's just like they have to, they push it, and there's a lot more to it than like the story of a Call of Duty game.
Sure, I mean, it's the difference between like an iterative game like Call of Duty or you know, NBA 2017 and you know, sort of a narrative-driven game.
And the reason why I don't want to complain too much is that I kind of feel where they are because the stakes are so high with the remake. Like their whole legacy of the company depends on this being successful, and like if they need to do it right. So that's why I'm just like, fine, take your time, do it to a point where it's gonna satisfy your critical fans who have not been happy with the late Final Fantasy games. So
let's say there have been mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews. I mean, I really like them. Some are better than others, but I still feel like that it's been a long time since there's been a Final Fantasy game that all the fans can unite around. So,
I think the stakes are incredibly high with the 7 remake.
I
mean, there used to be that old joke that, or at least I think I saw it in a webcomic somewhere once, where it's like, you know, Square headquarters and
break the glass.
Break glass if Final Fantasy VII remake behind glass. Break glass if you know, we're in dire straits.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's what drove this. I think the time is right. They have the technology, you know, to do this remake the right way. Certainly, it's going to be challenging to fit that much game, you know, in the HD world into one package. That's why they're breaking it up into 3 parts.
You can see where they're coming from.
I'd be very surprised if you didn't see some type of word on the remake this year.
Yeah.
Whether it be a demo or
I mean, they gotta push it.
Or a release
date.
Release date, maybe.
At least give us the year, like they did with Kingdom Hearts. Like 2019 would be awesome. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I was super happy with Kingdom Hearts 3 when they just gave us a year.
Yeah,
I didn't care. Like I didn't care if that meant December 31st of 2018.
It's coming out.
Okay, it's next year. That's cool. But I like that stuff.
I will defend Square a little bit when it comes to why they announced 7 Remake 2 years ago. Well, 2.5 years at E3 2015 was because they had 15 coming up, and I think they wanted to elevate the brand, and I think Sony was like, let's sell some PS4s. It was still early in the life, and like I'm sure if you were like on the fence about buying a PS4, that would probably be something that would push
because they also said it was going to be a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, for sure. Or first on
first,
PS4.
First. Yeah.
I mean, you know, if it comes out exclusively for PS4, we're going to get like a PS5 remake.
Oh, I totally expect I mean, one theory is that, you know, they've come to this point where they're like, should we release it? And I'm sure Sony's like, how about a PS5 launch title?
Exclusive.
But you can also get the PS4 Lite version.
Twilight
Princess.
Breath of the Wild.
We'll flip the game so it's mirror imaged on the 4.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of these that makes sense financially, but they did say it's for PS4, and I hope that they're able to fulfill the promise to at least get the first one out on PS4. I expect that it's supposed to be a trilogy. That makes the most sense to me. That 3 will most definitely be a PS5 game.
I think a 2 most definitely.
It's the second.
Because it only makes sense, I feel like, for the first one to be kind of a split between PS4 and PS5, because the other 2 most likely are going to be on PS5. And if you're going to get the trilogy, you probably want to have it all in the same system.
That would be for sure. Yeah.
Well. Anyways, so I love speculating about this stuff because.
And tell us what you all think in the comments down below.
Yeah, and subscribe, please. So, but yeah, like man, I've obviously we'll be talking about this and updating all the news, and man, I'm really excited for the remake, and like every little droplet of I'm seriously I'm licking the water on the floor with this Square. Like, come on, you gotta give me something.
He's thirsty.
It's thirsty.
He's thirsty.
Yeah.
We're tired of watching it.
You're tired of watching it. Yeah. So there was one last little thing I want to talk about. It's kind of like what we're playing and what's like kind of buzzing right now, and I guess that would be this guy, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, I wanted to give my first impressions because I just started it. He ordered his a little late.
Like
Amazon or one of those blacked out. Yeah. So, but Harris and I have started it, and I'm like 4 hours in. You're about the same.
5 hours.
5 hours. Ooh, you stayed up late last night.
No, I got home early today from work.
Okay, yeah.
So I have some catching up to do.
Yeah. But anyway, so I beat pretty much the first chapter, and I'm a little bit into chapter 2, and it's really good. Like, I really like. It feels like this hybrid of Xeno, yet it's got some Final Fantasy in there, and then it's got like this Miyazaki kind of universe to it. So. The music's amazing. The gameplay still has a ways to go to unlock, and it was a little tutorial heavy, but those are like the only things that I can really complain about it. And I understand why there are all the tutorials, because they want to bring new Switch players in. Hopefully people like you want to give it a shot, and it's good that this came out early in the Switch lifespan, so a lot of people can enjoy it from the start. But like, I really love the story. I love how it's front and center. The characters are interesting. Yeah, the music's really
fun. Can you say anything more about the soundtrack? Because I love any Mitsuda soundtrack.
Yeah. Who's actually been kind of absent from making video game music for a long time. He's been on like these other little projects, but this is his first step back into the limelight. And he's also doing the episode Ignis DLC, and he also says there's one other big announcement he has this year for his new project. But anyway, Mitsuda's soundtrack is fantastic. It's prog rocky, it's got the epic orchestra, but it's got its own unique flavor at the same time, and it's got like that whole epic fantasy feel that you would come to expect from him.
Thomas has played a lot of the Xeno games. I'm not as familiar with them, but I will say I've played Chronicles X, and I just started playing this, and I'm very much enjoying this. I think, especially like story-based, it's pretty phenomenal. And just so far, I've really enjoyed it. I know that I'm barely scratching the surface, so I'm excited to really kind of get into this. It's really kind of grabbed me from the beginning, and I'm hoping that people that maybe who haven't played it like me or like the other games, like, I just hope that they actually get to enjoy the game, because I think it's a lot better than maybe what a casual gamer or someone who might not know anything about the series that they might think. So definitely check it out.
And right off the bat, I think even to a casual gamer, like, I would recommend it for sure.
Oh yeah.
It could be a good intro into JRPGs.
It really could be one of those things that someone, like, their parents don't really know what they're getting them for Christmas, and then the kid gets it and they start playing it and they're like, oh my god, this is the best game I've ever played.
That would be awesome.
And hopefully that happens to a lot of people, because I think, Thomas has played it, other people, and you've played other Xeno games.
I played Xenogear, and I know this is sort of a lot of these are spiritual sequels. Yeah, I played Xenogears, which was, I guess, the proto Xeno game.
It was the
came out on the
mothership. Yeah,
and I did play some of the Xenosaga games. But even though this is Chronicles 2, you don't have to have played any of those. No.
Apparently, yeah.
Chronicles
I was worried that Chronicles 1, I was going to miss something that was pivotal to this, but I've heard a lot of people say that if you haven't played the first one, that you're completely fine going into this. There might be Easter eggs, but there's nothing that's pivotal to, as far as I'm understanding, there's nothing pivotal to the plot that is going to make you not understand what you're doing.
Nothing's going to be taken away from your enjoyment.
So far,
it may be enriched if you play
exactly. Like, there are some references, like Pyra, the Rex's Blade. He's the driver. Still getting used to the terminology. She is kind of like the Monado in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. but it's manifested differently. And I love how you got the Zohar monolith theme running through all of it, and how it's kind of like he started his own Final Fantasy franchise. It's got like the no pawns and these like running characteristics, but each game is unique and you don't have to experience the previous one to get into it. But the funny thing is with Harrison is that his first Xeno game was we got the pure exposure with Xenogears, but he played Xenoblade Chronicles X first, which is probably the most off the beaten path out of the whole franchise, which I didn't see coming, and it didn't click with me like the others. So it was
I
interesting.
kept trying to I was like, "Are you playing?" And he's like, "No." It was one of those things I kind of played on my own.
It's a shame. I need to give it a chance.
And
check out my Xeno series video.
I enjoyed. I enjoyed, obviously I think I put like 100 hours into the game.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't like it was a bad game. It just was.
Some people have been known to put like 200 to 300 hours.
Oh yeah, I can totally see how you can do that because there's so much to it.
And that's like finishing the main game doing a lot of post games.
They say this one's supposed to be 100-ish.
Yeah, like
another
main
Persona.
Game, like easy.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Persona 5 at some point.
Absolutely.
I still need to play that.
I gotta get caught up. Yeah.
It's so good.
Y'all,
Game of the year 2017.
I feel like that's a huge sin for me to say on my RPG YouTube channel is that I've not completed Persona 5. And he's beaten it twice.
It's
anyways,
really good.
I haven't played it, but it's one of those games I really do want to play.
It's on the list. I got the Steelbook right in there, and there will be a review.
I got too involved with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But anyway,
get this game.
Play that. It's fun.
Really good. And we'll have our review one day. But so far, really good. Emotional. Alright, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. And we got Harrison, Nick, Thomas, of course. And there'll be plenty of these videos. And hopefully I can keep these people from hating me. Alright, guys. See ya. Bye.